العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون، فترى الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتد بالصخور ميدان أرضه، ثم الصلاة والسلام على العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين. معنى هذه الآية المباركة هو خطاب إلى المؤمنين والمؤمنات: لا تعتمدوا قول الفاسقين. لو أخبركم من لا يجتنب الكذب ولا يهتم بالحلال والحرام ولا يلتزم بحدود الله، فلا تثقوا أخباره في حياتكم الخاصة أو العامة، حتى لا يؤدى ذلك إلى ظلم الأبرياء جهلا وخطأ من دون أساس ودليل، فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين. قيل إن هذه الآية نزلت في الوليد ابن عقبة حينما بعثه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إلى قبيلة بني المصطلق لأخذ الزكوات والصدقات، وكانت بين وليد وتلك الجماعة عداوة من عصر الجاهلية. فلما سمع القوم على مجيء الوليد تجاوز عما حدث في الجاهلية واستقبلوه تكريما لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. ولكن الوليد ظن أن القوم أرادوا قتله، فرجع من الطريق وأخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وآله بأن بني المصطلق قد ارتدوا ومنعوا صدقاتهم وأرادوا قتلي. ولكن جاء وفد من بني المصطلق إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وقالوا: يا رسول الله، نحن نعوذ من غضب الله وغضب رسوله، إننا سمعنا برسولك فخرجنا لنكرمه ونؤدي إليه حقوق الله، فبدا له في الرجوع. حين ذلك أنزل الله تعالى هذه الآية ليكشف عن فسق الوليد وكذبه على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وكذبه على صحابته. وإن نزلت هذه الآية في شأن هذا الشخص، ولكن مدلول الآية أعم من ذلك، وهو يتضمن مبدأ التحقيق والاطمئنان من أنباء الفساق والمنافقين. إن الله لا يريد لنا أن نفرق. في الحقيقة أنه يريد لنا أن نفرق بين الفساق والمؤمنين، ولا نريد لنا أن نفرق بين الفساق والفساق، ولكن يريد لنا أن نفرق بين الفساق والمؤمنين. أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. قل لا يستوي الخبيث والطيب ولو أعجبك كثرة الخبيث، ولا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة، أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: علائم الفاسق فأربعة: اللهو واللغو والعدوان والبهتان. وقال عليه السلام: إياكم ومصاحبة الفساق والكذابين، إن الله لا يرضى عن القوم الفاسقين. نعم أيها الإخوة والأخوات، إن أكثر الصراعات الاجتماعية والحروب والمقاتلات منشأها الفاسقون، ومن أسوأ مصادر الفسق في زماننا هذا هو الفسق في الوسائل الإعلام. إن كثيرا من هذه الوكالات الخبرية والإذاعات والمحطات والجرائد تتموج ليلا ونهارا أنواع الشرور والشبهات والفتن والأكاذيب في آذان المجتمع وأذهانه. وإننا عندما نواجه هذه الأجواء المليئة بالفسق والكفر والإنكار والظلم، نرى ضرورة العمل لتثقيف المجتمع والدعوة إلى الوحدة الإيمانية والوحدة الإسلامية. اللهم اكشف هذه الغمة عن هذه الأمة بظهور وليك، وعجل اللهم ظهوره، إنهم يرونه بعيدا ونراه قريبا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله أكرمه بالنبوة وجعله رحمة للعالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك بحافظ سرك بمبلغ رسالاتك، وصل على وسيه وأخيه أمير المؤمنين، وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، وصل على سبتي الرحمة الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم المهدي حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا سقما إلا شفيته، ولا عيبا إلا سترته، ولا رزقا إلا بسطته ولا خوفا إلا أمنته ولا سوءا إلا صرفته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولي فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. السلام الداخلي, inner peace, an urgent issue, especially during this COVID-19 crisis. Sometimes we hear the numbers going down and up. I was reading an article yesterday in New York Times. One of the doctors was saying that the real number is 4 or 5 times more than we hear officially. Officially, there are 25 million Americans that somehow they suffer from this virus. But he was saying it's more than 100, not 25 million, but 105 million people. Somehow, some of them they took it seriously, and some of them passed it, didn't notice it. But this is how big the measure of this crisis has been. And for that reason, people have been going through so much stress. We are. I mean, even if you have little kids in your house and they want to learn virtually, if you have 2 kids, 3 kids, even 4 of them, and everybody on the computer and the teacher is talking, and if your house is small, if you have only 2 rooms in your house, and you have 4 kids, and 4 teachers are talking, and the kids are talking back and forth, that is a real challenge. And now, a lot of people, they lost their jobs, their income, they get something from grants, but not enough. Some people were really destroyed through this crisis, and that's why we heard about the number of people who died so far is getting close to 500,000. But did you hear that also in 2020, 48,344 people died out of suicide. Almost 50,000 people, they took their own lives under so much stress that part of it related to coronavirus and part of it other reasons. So this is why inner peace or as-salam al-dakhili is an urgent issue. But this peace is not something that we can order online, to go online and Amazon and say that I need some inner peace. How much is it? It's not like that. This is something that every individual must work on it by himself and herself. Since we have so many choices in our lives, so many challenges, so many opportunities, so many decisions to make, and it is important that how we deal with these issues in our life and how can we declare an internal peace at the center of our soul. This is a serious matter. Obviously, a lot of people are already na'imun, they are sleeping. You know, they are not in that. Nasu niyamun idha matu intabahu. They are sleeping. When they die, they wake up. There are some people who live their life, they are like in the sense of coma. like they don't feel it, right? Somebody is in surgery room and is under, there is numbness. They don't, حالة السكر. Some of them are even like drunk, that they don't feel it. If somebody is sleeping, if somebody is drunk, if somebody is in coma, that is different. They don't have experience of life. But those people who are في حالة اليقظة, and that is really the beginning of the journey of life, al-yaqظة, to be awake, to be aware. So here we are talking about al-yaqظة, we are talking about al-ma'rifah, understanding, al-irfan. When Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that تفكر ساعة خير من عبادة 70 سنة. 1 hour of reflection, 1 hour of understanding, 1 hour of practicing awareness is better than worshipping 7 years, but like in Saqqara or like Na'imin, and don't feel the ibadah, doesn't feel that when he says إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, doesn't know what those words mean. So when we are talking about inner peace, brother and sister, this is much more important than external peace. Because the external peace, people go and they fight and somebody won and somebody lost, and it's over, they declare peace. End of the war. But when we deal with the internal peace, there's always a war going on inside us, that it doesn't stop easily. Because there is a war between جنود العقل وجنود الجهل. The army of intellect, the army of insanity, the army of ignorance. And there is a fighting. 70, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, there is a hadith in Usul Kafi that he mentions 70 soldiers under the army of Al-Aql and 75 soldiers under the army of Junud al-Jahl. And he mentions that all these qualities, good qualities, bad qualities, good soldiers, evil soldiers. So human being has a choice to make, an option to take. One option is to find Tariq al-Malaika. I want to look at the spiritual forces. I want to be close to Malaikatullah al-Muqarrabeen, those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are people who choose, instead of angel, they choose al-Iblis, they choose Iblis, they are close to shayateen. So there is a big difference between Malaika and shayateen. There are people who choose Kal-An'am, the destination, the direction of the animals. There are people who choose the beast, like the wolf, the brutality, like brutal and ruthless animals, doesn't care about anything. So there are all these options, the option of malaika, the option of shayateen, the option of animals, the option of the worst kinds of animals. So it looks like we experience an internal election in our soul. Every day we need to elect which one we want to vote for. Do we vote for malaika? Do we vote for shayateen? Do we vote for al-an'am? Do we vote for the beast? Which one we choose? Here, the instrument of intellect, al-ma'rifah, al-irfan, al-irada, al-riyada, these are the tools that we need in this struggle. that start from ma'rifah, that we understand it, and then ma'rifah by itself is not enough. Al-irada, when you know it, then you make your decision, you are determined. And when you are determined, that's not enough. You do al-riyada al-ruhiyya. You do exercise, tahdhib al-nafs, that you are dealing with this practice. It's not only al-aql al-nadari, but al-aql al-amali. Al-hikmah al-amaliyya, not faqat al-hikmah al-nadariyya. This is what we need in this situation. Some people, they think that I am looking for inner peace, but I don't need religion. I just want to be spiritual. Haven't you heard some people say, we don't want to go to church, we don't want to go to mosque, we don't want to go to religious places. We want to be just spiritual. And we feel peace with this spirituality. And when you ask them, so what is wrong with religion? There's a religion, it provides hatred. You know, a lot of these religious people, they divide, they are for hatred. And look at all these religious wars and all this terrorism. We don't want to be part of that. We just want to be spiritual. Well, in reality, if you are talking about the religions that divide, the religions that promote hatred, the religions that promote disruption and division, نحن نكفر. Also, we don't believe in those kind of religions. The religion that we believe is God is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Ad-Din Ar-Rahmani. Ar-Rabb, who is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, compassionate, merciful. Al-Wadud, loving Lord. The religion that we believe its messenger is Rahmatan lil Alameen. So what is wrong with this kind of religion? In reality, you can be very spiritual and at the same time very religious when we are talking in this kind of religious, because really human beings is in need of something more than only intellect. We need some heavenly support system, because our intellect by itself is not enough. If you want to be just spiritual just by yourself and you enjoy it and you know I listen to some music, I go to the nature and I look at the mountains and then I feel spiritual. I mean, if you want to have something just for yourself, entertain yourself, that is something. But if you are talking about a spirituality that at the same time is responsible, and you are part of bringing peace not just to yourself, but peace for your neighbors, peace for your community, peace for the world, then in that case you need some support also from Al-Wahiyya. You need someone that 1400 years ago, before we had all this science and all this knowledge and all this technology, told us, اجتنبوا قول الزور, don't lie. Period. لا تنابزوا بالألقاب, don't insult someone else. لا تجسسوا, don't spy. لا يغتب بعضكم بعضا, don't backbite one another. وَتَقُولُونَ بِأَفْوَاهِكُمْ مَا لَيْسَ لَكُمْ بِهِ عِلْمٍ, don't spread gossip out of something that you don't know. لَا يَسْخَرْ قَوْمٌ مِّنْ قَوْمٍ, don't make fun of one another. لَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ, don't insult your parents. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, stop al-laghw, stay away from ill lectures and ill speeches. La tusrifu, don't waste your food, don't waste your time, don't waste your energy, don't waste your wealth and health. La tusrifu. Buhtanan wa ithman mubina, don't harm the believers, don't harm others with buhtan. وَأَطْعِمُوا الْقَانِعَ وَالْمُعْتَرَ, feed the hungry. وَاحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ, keep your oath. فَأَتِمُّوا إِلَيْهِمْ أَهْدَهُمْ, even when you make a promise to a pagan, practice it. الْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, manage your anger. ادفع بالتي هي أحسن, reply evil with good. وإذا حييتم بتحية فحيوا بأحسن منها, return greetings with a better greeting. Somebody says salam, say alaykum as-salam, salam alaykum wa rahmatullah, alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Always add something nice. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا السَّلَامَ, even reply the ignorant with peace. وَإِنْ جَنَحُوا لِلسِّلْمِ فَاجْنَحْ لَهَا, even your enemy is asking for peace, don't reject. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا, show humility in your walking, in your talking, in your life. Therefore, Ibrahim al-Mukarramin, show hospitality like Nabi Ibrahim was a man of hospitality to his guests. Show this kindness and hospitality. تَفَسَّحُوا فِي الْمَجَالِسِ, when you are in a gathering, make it easy for your neighbors. Give opening, give some space to a person next to you. This was even before at-tabaad al-ijtimai, before the social distances. Quran said that. لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. When you do something for someone, don't try to say, oh, I did you a big favor. Don't do that. فلا تزكوا أنفسكم. Don't say, I'm من المتقين, I'm righteous, I'm a pious person. You don't have to say that. You shouldn't say that. So, even if you want to be spiritual, still it matters to be religious. There is no conflict between a real religion and spirituality. If both of them are direct you to the divine, if both of them are showing you the real destination, if both of you are helping you to have peace at the center of your soul. So this inner peace, brothers and sisters, coming through our intellect, junud al-aql, but also junud al-wahy, human intellect, and also this spiritual support, his assistance from heaven, these Quranic verses, that if we apply these messages, then we have peace in our soul and we provide peace for others. Recently in this country, they are recognizing the danger of domestic terrorism. You know, for almost 20 years, so many countries were destroyed, and Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Yemen and Libya. Many countries, even so many innocent in this country, were arrested by FBI under the excuse of the laws against terrorism. But after 20 years of fighting and death and destruction, and $7 trillion of spending and destroying money in the name of fighting or war against terror, now everybody realized that we were looking for the problem outside. Now we realize that the problem is inside. How you are looking for the key of your house on the street while you left the key inside the house. And now all this talk about domestic terrorism, especially after January 6th, that what happened in the capital. And now everybody is trying to see that the real danger, the real threat is from inside, not just from outside. But for us, of course, from day number one, we said we are against terrorism, whether inside or outside. We are against crime. Doesn't matter who committed this crime. Being white or black, being Democrat or Republican, being white nationalist, or being a black, being rich or poor, doesn't matter. Whoever committed an act of violence, act of crime, act of terrorism, we said these are the same. It's interesting, yesterday I was looking at another article in New York Times, and there was an article, and so many people, they made a comment on that article, and they were saying that when we talk about terrorism, domestic terrorism, also remember that so many of the wars were criminal and they were acts of terrorism. They wrote it in New York Times. They said, what about using atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? That was an act of terrorism. What about massacre in Vietnam? That was an act of terrorism. So while we condemn ISIS and Al-Qaeda, while at the end Trump made like a peace with them, but remember that terrorism is terrorism being done in Afghanistan or Vietnam or Nagasaki or in Yemen or in Syria or in Libya. The act of war, the act of violence, the act of like criminal aggression should be condemned no matter what. So they said that let us be honest. And especially the politicians should show this honesty. If they were condemning the former President Trump that he was a liar, they should learn from him not to lie anymore. The new administration should be careful. It's interesting that Washington Post, they had these fact checkers that they check the facts. And they went through 4 years of presidency of Trump. And they check all of the Twitters, 25,000 tweets that he made, 25,000 in 4 years. And the lectures that he made, they counted 5 million words. And they were trying to check very objectively how many times this man lied or made false statement or misleading a statement. They came up with a huge number of 30,573 times. So almost 31,000 times this man lied based on this Washington Post article. And they are saying that this 31,000 is not just, we did not count every lies. For example, if he made a lecture and he lied, he repeated the same lie 3 times, we didn't count it 3 times, we just counted 1 time. If he made a tweet and in this tweet he lied 2 times, the same lie, we just considered it 1 time. We did not consider the Facebook because already we counted on the tweet and that is repeated in the Facebook, the same thing. We don't want to make that because this is a duplication. They said we are talking about 30,573 times the real acts of deception and lying. Why is it? Why is it? Well, in dunya you can do that. You think that with kidb, with lying, you may feel that inner peace, but you don't. Because if you still have a nafsul lawwama, is going to condemn your nafsul ammara, say that is wrong, stop lying. Even if you escape nafsul lawwama, that you didn't care about the court of your consciousness, the court of conscience of your soul in this world. But remember, هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم. There is going to be a day that only your honesty and your sidq is going to help you. And the cases of the acts or the cases of kidb and lying is going to be counted much more careful than Washington Post, because the Quran said ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. Every word that we pronounce is going to be observed by an angel who is our own agent that listens and at the same time writes down the things that we said, whether they are sidq or whether they are kadhb. You know, when a few days ago in this week, this Larry King passed away. You remember Larry King? He was in CNN for 25 years. He interviewed so many kings and so many presidents, so many political and religious leaders. But now he's dead. He was 87 and he died. I said, subhanallah. He interviewed in a matter of years and years and years everyone. Now this is his own term. Now he is going to be the person who will be interviewed by the angel that says, Larry King, Man Rabbuk, Man Nabiyuk, Ma Kitabuk. Tell us. And then says, Iqra' kitabak. Now it's time that you read your book. طوبى للذين يقرؤون كتبهم قبل مماتهم. They are not sleeping, they are not ghafilin. They are not sukara in this dunya. They are not in coma. They are awake and they understand. They are enjoying and experiencing a life of al-ma'rifah, a life of al-irada, life of al-yaqza, a life of determination, a life of vision, a life of being responsible, and a life of honesty. This is why when we have in the hadith that Imam Ali says, or Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, Kun wasiyya nafsik. When you are alive, be your own wasi. You know, a lot of people sometimes, individual here and there, they come to us to the mosque and they want us to help them to write their will. That when they die, you know, do this and do that, my sons, my daughters, my family. And sometimes they say that I want to dedicate the thuluth of amwali, because we can make 1/3 of our wealth and property to anyone that we decide. So that is not an earth that can be wasiyah. Because the earth is earth, we know the laws of the earth. But you have the authority of wasiyah to make 1/3 of your property, spending it in any right way. You want to help an educational project or religious project, or give it to certain relatives or people that you decide that they deserve it and they are right people to be supported. You do all of this from 1/3. The Prophet, he says, Kun wasiyya nafsik. Why you are making somebody else as your wasi? Why you don't choose yourself to be your wasi? Because you care for your ideas, for your considerations more than anyone else. كن وسي نفسك، كن واعظ نفسك، كن حسيب نفسك، كن وسي نفسك. Yes. فإن الناقد البصير. This is why, brothers and sisters, the way to receive this inner peace is our choice. As I said, nothing to order online. There is no price that I make millions of dollars to buy, to purchase inner peace. This depends on our internal choices, internal election. Whom do we vote for at the center of our soul? Do we vote for al-malaika? Do we vote for al-shayateen? Do you vote for al-an'am? Do we vote for al-nafs al-lawwamah that criticizes us when we do something wrong, if we lied, if we backbite, if we hurt someone, if we made fun of someone, if we promoted gossip, if we made negative things in someone's life, all of this responsibility. So the inner peace comes from the right choices, the choices with al-ma'rifah, with al-yaqda, al-irada, al-riyada ruhiyya. In this case, you can be very spiritual and be very religious. There is no contradiction. Don't say, I want to be just spiritual, not religious. Because what is to be religious without being spiritual? And how can you be spiritual if you are disconnected with that kingdom, with that support system, the heavenly support system? You cannot do it that way. You need to connect junud al-aql with junud al-wahy, and through this connection of your intellect and the heavenly messages, make that peace in your soul and share this peace with your neighbors. For the houses on your right and on your left and your front, on the back, these are all your neighbors. To 40 houses in, and you are in the middle. You are in the middle of this neighborhood. You can share this love and this peace with everyone. We ask for peace for everyone during this 2021, as we are asked for peace for the soul of those who couldn't make it to this new year. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات وتابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So as you keep your social distance, brothers and sisters, make sure there is order in lines, and you silence your cell phone, please. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. وأن عليا ولي الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح، حي على خير العمل، حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة وقد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض، الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا، بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك بأهل خاصتك من ملائكتك والصالحين من بريتك أن تجعل علينا واقية تنجينا من الهلكات وتجنبنا من الآفات وأن تنزل علينا من سكينتك وأن تغشي وجوهنا بأنوار مودتك ومحبتك، وأن تحوينا بأكناف عصمتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقول وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة. أيحسب الإنسان أن لن نجمع عظامه؟ بلى قادرين على أن نسوي بنانه. بل يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه. يسأل أيان يوم القيامة. فإذا برق البصر وخسف القمر وجمع الشمس والقمر ينبأ الإنسان يومئذ بما قدم وأخر. بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة ولو ألقى معاذيره. لا تحرك به لسانك لتغرأ به. لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به. إن علينا جمعه وقرآنه. فإذا قرأناه فاتبع قرآنه. كلا بل تحبون العاجلة وتذرون الآخرة. وجوه يومئذ ناظرة لربها ناظرة ووجوه يومئذ باسرة تظن أن يفعل بها فاقرة كلا إذا بلغت التراقي وقيل من راق وظن أنه الفراق وظن أنه الفراق والتفت الساق بالساق إلى ربك يومئذ المساق فلا صدق ولا صلى ولكن كذب فتولى ثم ذهب إلى أهله يتمطى ثم ذهب إلى أهله يتمتع أولى لك فأولى ثم أولى لك فأولى أيحسب الإنسان أن يترك سدى ألم يكن نطفة من مني يمنى ثم كان علقة فخلق فسوى وجعل منه الزوجين الذكر والأنثى أليس ذلك بقادر على أن يحيي الموتى الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا آمنا بما أنزلت واتبعنا الرسول فاكتبنا مع الشاهدين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد لا إله إلا الله حقا حقا لا إله إلا الله إيمانا وتصديقا لا إله إلا الله عبودية ورقا سبوح قدوس رب الملائكة والروح الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد يا من تحل به عقد المكاره يا من يلتمس منه المخرج إلى روح الفرج. ذلت لقدرتك الصعاب وتسببت بلطفك الأسباب وجرى بقدرتك القضاء ومضت على مشيئتك الأشياء. صل على محمد وآل محمد وارحمنا برحمتك يا كريم. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
تقبل الله إن شاء الله. Just one announcement. Of course, alhamdulillah, the distribution of those food and fawakeh for yourself, for your neighbors. Please help yourself after the salat. Sister Zainab is sitting with the desk at the Mahdi Hall for registration for the new class in the Hikmat Seminary that we are starting from the following weekend. Not this weekend, following weekend. That is on Zoom, and Dr. Sayyid Musabi is the teacher that from Al-Hawza Al-Ilmiya. He is teaching this 25 session Al-Fiqh wal-Aqaid. Very important. Don't say that it's just for the youth. Even the parents, yani abawan, ummahat, when you have this education, you teach your children. So lots of things that we don't know as parents, we don't know about our aqidah. We just, we are Muslim because we were born in a Muslim family. That's it. We need to increase our own education. It's 25 sessions of fiqh and aqidah, and is only $2 for each session. Dr. Musabi doesn't charge, he has so many other things, but he wants to take the class seriously. So for that reason, it's very organized class on time. Please register with Sister Zainab, and later on it is on our Facebook, and Brother Ihsan Karimi may provide you more information. But you need to connect to Telegram to have this session on Zoom. So get the information, get the flyer, register now or register online later on. We want everyone to participate in this class. It's only 25 sessions. Dr. Musabi, a great teacher, a professor of Al-Hawza Al-Ilmiya, and he is offering this, and it's good for all the families to learn. So please join that. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa anna Aliyan waliyullah, hayya ala salati, hayya ala salah, حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله